Listen, a lot of people don't realize this, but energy is the real currency, not the paper in your pocket, not the numbers in your account. It's your energy that's the real wealth. That's what moves mountains, what builds empires, what separates the ones who talk from the ones who really live it. You can lose money and get it back, but once your energy's gone, it's gone. And the crazy part, most people give it away cheap. They spend it on gossip, distractions, negativity, and people who don't deserve to even stand in their circle. See, your energy is the frequency you move on. It's how you walk, how you talk, how you breathe when you enter a room. It's that invisible power that tells the world who you are without saying a word. Some people feel it and want to build with it, and others feel it and want to drain it. That's why you got to be intentional about where you place it. Every conversation, every argument, every situation is a transaction. You either invest in your energy or you wasting it. You ever been around somebody and felt tired after? Like your spirit just got lighter in a bad way? That's the cost of letting people tap into your vibe who ain't earned it. Energy vampires. They come with smiles, compliments, and small talk, but underneath all that is hunger. They feed off your light because they ain't found their own. And if you don't protect your space, they'll take your focus, your motivation, your peace, and you won't even notice it's slipping. You gotta move with awareness. Protect your energy like you protect your dream. Stop giving it to people who only call you when they need something. Stop explaining yourself to people who already made up their mind about you. Stop letting situations pull you into chaos that don't even belong to you. Your peace is the foundation of your success. Without it, you'll be chasing everything, catching nothing. You gotta understand, your energy creates your reality. If you keep giving it to negativity, your world gonna look negative. If you pour it into growth, discipline, and love, your life gonna start reflecting that. That's the science of it. The universe don't respond to what you say, it responds to what you radiate. So if your energy off, everything around you gonna be off too. That's why protecting your vibe is the most gangster thing you can do. When you learn to say no to the wrong things, you say yes to your evolution. You stop chasing validation, stop begging for loyalty, stop forcing connections that ain't meant for you. You start attracting better situations, better people, better results. The energy you carry determines the life you live, period. I've seen people with everything lose it because they let the wrong energy in. And I've seen people with nothing rise up because their energy was pure, focused, consistent. It's never about where you start. It's about the vibration you move on daily. What kind of spirit you bring into your grind. And don't get it twisted. Protecting your energy ain't about being cold or selfish. It's about being wise. You can't pour from an empty cup. You can't build greatness if you're drained by things that don't serve your mission. Sometimes love means stepping back. Sometimes loyalty means walking away. You gotta be surrounded by people who understand exchange, not just taking but giving back. People who recharge you, inspire you, challenge you to grow. That's how you keep your energy flowing right. If you're the only one pouring, eventually you'll run dry. So look at your life right now. Where's your energy going? Who's eating from your plate but never bringing food? Who's smiling in your face but preying on your downfall? You got to check your environment because your energy can't thrive in low frequency. Be aware of your worth, your time, your attention, your presence. That's luxury. Don't waste it on things that don't feed your soul. Invest it in your purpose, your grind, your peace, your vision. That's how you stay rich in spirit, no matter what your balance says. At the end of the day, energy is currency. Spend it like, it's value. Don't let nobody overdraft your spirit. Guard it, grow it, and give it where it multiplies, not where it disappears. That's how you win, not just once, but for life. You ever notice how some people don't come into your life to build, they come to drain? That's real talk. They don't want your love, they want your energy. They don't want your peace, they want your presence. Those are the energy vampires, the ones who smile in your face, act like they care, but every time they leave, you feel empty. They feed off your light because they never learned how to create their own. These people move slick. They don't always come loud with bad intentions. Sometimes it's a woman who always got drama, always got a story that needs saving, always pulling you into a storm. She'll tell you she needs your help, your advice, your time. But what she's really taking is your frequency. Every time you answer that call, every time you fall into that cycle, you're giving her power. And the more she drains, the less you got left for yourself. See, you got to understand this. Your energy is like oxygen. If you keep giving it to people who ain't breathing on their own, you'll suffocate trying to save them. Some women are addicted to chaos because peace exposes who they really are. They don't want healing, they want attention. They don't want growth, they want control. And when you stop feeding them, they call you cold. But nah, that's not being cold, that's being aware. Energy vampires can't survive without a host. They attach to people with purpose, with vision, with movement. They drawn to your light because theirs been off for a long time. But you got to remember, your light ain't free. You earn that glow through pain, lessons, losses, and late nights grinding. So you can't just let anybody stand in your sun. Not everybody deserves front row access to your spirit. You ever been with someone who can make a good day feel heavy, like everything was cool till they walked in the room? That's energy transfer. They bring confusion, gossip, negativity, subtle disrespect. All that builds up. And if you ain't careful, you start carrying their energy like it's yours. You start thinking low, feeling low, moving slow. That's what they want. Misery needs company, and they love when you sit next to it. But here's the truth. Once you recognize an energy vampire, you don't argue with them. You disconnect. No long conversations, no explaining yourself, no emotional tug of war, just distance. You protect your peace in silence. You got to train yourself to move like your soul got a price tag, because it do. Every moment you spend in chaos costs you clarity. Every time you respond to drama, you delay your blessings. Sometimes the hardest thing is walking away from someone who once felt right, but turned toxic. The growth ain't comfortable. You can't level up in environments that feed on your downfall. You can't build with people who benefit from your weakness. And when you finally say enough, don't expect applause, expect resistance. They'll try to guilt you, twist your words, make you feel selfish. But that's part of the game. Energy vampires hate when they lose control. The real power move is peace. Learning to stay grounded while everything around you tries to pull you out of character. That's mastery. You don't chase validation. You don't explain your distance. You just move different. When you start protecting your energy, you'll notice your circle shrink. That's not loss, that's alignment. Only the real ones can breathe in your atmosphere. And don't get it twisted. Not every woman is an energy vampire. There are queens out here who heal, who pour into you, who match your frequency. You'll know them by how you feel when you're around them. Inspired, calm, focused, those are the ones you invest in. But the others, you gotta let them go before they cost you your peace. The longer you entertain the wrong energy, the longer you delay what's meant for you. That's why discipline matters. It ain't just about money or success. It's about protecting the spirit that fuels it all. When your energy's clean, your vision clears up. You start attracting blessings instead of burdens. So when you feel that drain, trust it. Your intuition ain't lying to you, it's warning you. Every time you walk away from an energy vampire, you take your power back. You remind yourself you're not desperate for connection, you're dedicated to elevation. Remember, not everyone who smiles at you got love for you. Some just see your light and want to plug into it because there's one out. Protect that glow, protect that peace, protect that purpose. Because once you master who gets access to your energy, you master your whole life. Protect your vibe like your life depends on it, because it does. The world gonna test your peace every single day. People, situations, distractions, all of it's designed to pull you off your path. You gotta be sharper than that. You gotta move like you know what's at stake. Your vibe is your foundation. It's your inner frequency, that calm power that guides how you move, what you attract, how you build. If your energy's off, everything else gonna start falling apart. That's why protecting it ain't optional. It's survival. You can't build nothing lasting if your spirit's chaotic. You can't see opportunity if your mind's cloudy. So you gotta treat your peace like sacred ground. Not everybody gets to step on it. Don't let people bring you their storms and call it love. Don't let people project their fears and call it advice. A lot of folks move off pain, and when they see you shining, they feel exposed. They'll try to dim your light just so they can feel comfortable in their darkness. That's why you gotta know how to move without announcing it. Silence is power when your peace is the goal. Every day, you decide what gets your energy. That's the real control. You decide what conversations you enter, what arguments you ignore, what environments you stay away from. Protecting your vibe ain't weakness, it's maturity. It's understanding that you don't have to respond to everything that calls your name. Some things are traps disguised as attention. You don't gotta prove your strength to people who ain't even proven their peace. People love to test your energy when they see you elevating. They'll poke at you, talk behind your back, try to provoke reactions, all because your focus threatens their comfort. Don't bite. When you got something real in the works, silence speaks louder than defense. You let your results do the talking. Protecting your vibe means refusing to let negativity set the tone for your spirit. You ever wake up in a good mood, but then one phone call, one argument, one piece of bad energy ruins your whole day? That's what happens when you let outside noise control your frequency. You gotta learn to pause, breathe, Reset. Don't give the world permission to dictate your peace. You create your own environment by how you respond. That's what real discipline looks like, being unbothered in a world built on distraction. You got to be intentional about who you let around you. Energy spreads like smoke. Even if you ain't the one burning, you still inhale it. If you hang around gossip, you'll start thinking small. If you hang around ambition, you'll start dreaming bigger. Your circle shapes your energy, and your energy shapes your destiny. So if protecting your vibe means cutting ties, then cut them. No guilt, no second thoughts. You can't evolve if you're surrounded by people who still live in confusion. Sometimes protecting your vibe means saying no to people, no to noise, no to anything that don't align with where you're going. You don't owe nobody access to your peace. You don't owe nobody an explanation for why you move different. Growth is uncomfortable to those who ain't growing, but you ain't here to stay the same. You're here to become more. It's also about how you treat yourself. Protecting your vibe means resting when you're tired, meditating when you're overwhelmed, and feeding your mind with things that remind you who you are. It's turning off the world's opinions and turning up your intuition. Your spirit always knows what's right. You just got to quiet the noise long enough to hear it. The moment you start guarding your energy, people gonna call you distant, cold, maybe even selfish. That's fine. Let them misunderstand you. They don't need to see your plan. They just gonna feel your growth. Protecting your vibe is the art of valuing your peace more than people's approval. It's knowing that your time, your focus, your calm, that's your real wealth. When you move with peace, your steps get clearer. You stop reacting, you start responding, you stop chasing, you start attracting, you start realizing that peace ain't a destination, it's a decision. Every day, every moment, you choose to protect it or lose it. So don't waste your energy trying to explain your peace to chaotic people. Just move. Protect your vibe like it's your last breath. Guard it, feed it, water it, and let it guide you. Because once you master your vibe, nobody can play with your power. You stop moving emotionally and start moving intentionally. That's when you really win. When you walk through the noise untouched. When your peace becomes louder than any problem. Self-mastery ain't about being perfect, it's about being aware. It's knowing exactly what can pull you off your path and choosing to stand tall anyway. Temptation is everywhere. And women and money and shortcuts and comfort. The world gonna offer you 1,000 distractions just to see if you still remember what you said you wanted. The real ones learn to move with discipline. They feel the pull but don't fall for it. That's power, not what you can take, but what you can turn down. Most people lose because they never learn how to say no to themselves. They talk about loyalty, purpose, and growth. But every time temptation knocks, they open the door. You can't claim to chase greatness while entertaining things that drain your focus. You can't build an empire while chasing cheap thrills. Every time you give in to something that weakens your spirit, you trade long-term power for short-term pleasure. That's how people get stuck, feeding what feels good instead of what's good for them. Self-mastery starts in silence. It's those moments when nobody's watching, when you could slip and no one would know, but you know, that's the test. You don't discipline yourself for the world, you do it for your own evolution. Every time you resist a distraction, you strengthen your spirit. Every time you walk away from temptation, you invest in your higher self. That's how you level up, not by what you gain, but by what you outgrow. Temptation always looks sweet at first. It comes wrapped in beauty, desire, or opportunity, but most of it's bait. The streets know it, the game knows it, and deep down you do too. Some women show up to test your focus, not to build with you. Some deals show up to test your patience, not bless your hustle. Everything that glitters ain't a blessing. Sometimes it's just distraction with good lighting. You gotta learn to see beyond the surface. Every time temptation shows up, ask yourself, what does this cost me? If the price is your peace, your focus, your purpose, it's too expensive. Real men don't chase every impulse, they control it. That's how you separate yourself. You start realizing that discipline ain't restriction, it's freedom. When you master your urges, you master your direction. You stop being moved by the world and start moving it. The most dangerous temptations are the ones that look harmless. Comfort is one of them. Comfort kills more dreams than failure ever will. It whispers, you've done enough, when you still got miles to go. It makes you settle, stop learning, stop pushing. But if you're chasing legacy, you can't afford to get comfortable. Every day's a test to stay sharp, to stay focused, to stay grounded when the noise gets loud. And let's be real, women can be temptation too, especially when you're still learning who you are. The wrong one can drain your focus, your time, your purpose, your energy. You think you're chasing love, but really you're feeding distraction. The right woman will bring peace and alignment. The wrong one will bring lessons and chaos. Self-mastery is knowing the difference. You can't lead your life if you can't lead your emotions. There's power in saying, nah, I'm good. Power in walking away when something don't feel aligned. Power in choosing purpose over pleasure. The world don't teach you that. It celebrates indulgence. But the greats, the ones who really built something lasting, they all had discipline. They turned their hunger into focus. They turned their pain into purpose. That's self-mastery. You don't conquer temptation by ignoring it. You conquer it by understanding it. You recognize your triggers, your weaknesses, your patterns, and you learn to control them before they control you. You start living with intention. You stop reacting and start choosing. That's the difference between movement and progress. One's noise, the other's direction. Every time you win over temptation, you remind yourself you're in control. You stop being a slave to impulse. You start moving from purpose. That's when your energy shifts, your relationships, your mindset, your success, everything. The universe starts rewarding discipline. At the end of the day, self-mastery is the highest form of respect for yourself. It's knowing you deserve more than temporary highs. It's choosing your mission over your moments. It's walking through temptation and not losing yourself in the process. The world gonna always offer you options, but not all options are opportunities. Some are traps, some are tests. Pass them. Stay focused, stay grounded, and keep your energy sacred. When you master your desires, you master your destiny. That's how you move like a king in a world full of chaos. Calm, clear, untouchable. Who you surround yourself with determines how far you go. You can have all the talent, all the ambition, all the plans, but if your circle ain't aligned with your vision, you'll always be fighting uphill battles. The truth is, your energy becomes what you're around. You can't grow in a garden full of weeds. You can't talk dreams around people who speak in fear. That's why you gotta build your circle with intention. Not out of comfort, not out of history, but out of alignment. Everybody ain't meant to walk with you. Some people were only supposed to teach you a lesson, not live your future with you. The problem is, most folks hold on out of loyalty, even when that loyalty starts costing them peace. But real loyalty ain't about sticking around through dysfunction. It's about growing together through evolution. If your growth offends someone, they were never with you for the right reasons. When you start leveling up, your circle gonna shrink. That's not betrayal, that's refinement. You need people around you who challenge you, who hold you accountable, who remind you what you're capable of when you forget. Not yes men, not fake supporters, not people who clap when you win but secretly hope you fall. You need solid energy, people who ain't intimidated by your light because they working on their own. When everyone in the circle winning, nobody feels threatened. That's real love. That's real teamwork. Energy is contagious. Sit around 5 lazy people and you'll be the 6th. Sit around 5 focused people and you'll level up without even noticing. That's how energy works. It transfers. You got to be intentional with who gets access to you. Not everyone deserves your time, your ideas, or your peace. Some people will drain your ambition, not because they mean harm, but because they don't see life the way you do. You can't expect big vision from small minds. It's not about looking down on nobody. It's about knowing where you're going and what type of energy it requires. You can't fly high when you're surrounded by people who fear the sky. You need dreamers, grinders, thinkers, people who talk about goals, not gossip, people who feed your spirit, not your ego. You can't build something real with people who only show up when it benefits them. Your circle gotta be built on loyalty, trust, and shared purpose. Sometimes building the right circle means standing alone for a while. That's the part most people can't handle. They'd rather keep the wrong company and walk alone for a season. But solitude ain't punishment, it's preparation. When you take time to isolate, you learn who you are, what you need, and what kind of energy deserves to stand beside you. Then when the right people come along, you recognize them instantly because they move with the same integrity, the same hunger, the same vision. The people around you should water your soul, not compete with it. They should inspire you to keep going when the world doubts you. They should speak life into your plans, not fear. And in return, you do the same. Iron sharpens iron, but only if both pieces are solid. You can't sharpen your blade against something dull. That's why every connection in your life needs purpose. You'll notice something once you start being intentional. Peace becomes your filter. You stop forcing connections. You stop chasing validation. You stop entertaining half love and half support. You start realizing that quality over quantity applies to people too. One real soul in your corner is worth more than 100 who show up when it's convenient. Your circle should reflect your future, not your past. Every person in it should either teach you, motivate you, or remind you of your why. If they don't do any of those, their time in your life has expired. Letting go ain't hate. It's love for yourself and for your mission. You can't build empires with people who think small. You can't find peace around those addicted to chaos. So look around. Who's in your circle? Are they pushing you or pulling you? Are they pouring into you or draining you? Be honest about it, because your circle is either your power or your prison. And once you build it with intention, once you surround yourself with visionaries, dreamers, builders, your energy changes, your mindset expands, you start to move differently, think differently, win differently. At the end of the day, success ain't a solo journey, but it does require selective company. Protect your circle like you protect your dream. Build with people who see the bigger picture, who ain't scared of accountability, who talk growth, not gossip. Because when your circle's right, your energy's right. And when your energy's right, everything else falls in line.